Peace. Ali coming back at you on behalf of SSollyMyers.com. Okay, in this third installment of Celebrity Numerology Breakdown, I'm going to do a masculine energy for once. Well, we've done Erykah Badu, then we did Beyonce, so this week we're going to do, today, we're going to do Tupac Shakur, and peace and blessings be upon him first off and for the remainder of this video. Definitely all praises due to the God. He was a legend. So it's an honor to break down his numbers. And this was suggested a lot by my listeners, people that follow me. And if you're interested in a certain celebrity, make sure you message me or leave a comment in the YouTube description. So when we look at numerology and breaking down people's numbers, you want to get their birth certificate name to get the 3 numbers from their name. From your name, you can get the expression number, the soul urge, and also the personality number. So Tupac, you thought his name was Tupac Shakur. That was not his birth certificate name. His actual name that he was born under was Lesane Parish Crooks. So that's the name that I used to get his 3 numbers from his name. And I used the Chaldean numerology system. A lot of people like the Pythagorean. It's all personal choice. Me personally, I like the Chaldean system in order to convert the letters over to numbers. So real quick, I'm going to run through his chart, and I'm also going to print it on the screen. His life path was a 31-4. His gift was a 16-7. Expression was a master number 66-12/3. His soul urge was a 27/9. Attitude 13/4. Personality 39/12/3. Now for my Tahuti Numi students, you know that there's 6 core numbers in the chart, but for sake of purpose and the most important numbers, there's 4 most important numbers from my professional experience. That's the life path, the gift, the expression, and the soul urge. Personality and attitude are more like a mask. They're not really your true self. They do play a part in your chart, depending on what the numbers are. But that's to be honest, that's an advanced technique from numerology, and you have to look at the chart holistically. Another thing that I beat in through my students is don't look at one thing, you look at the chart holistically. So I'm going to go through and just point out some key things I see. Obviously, I'm not going to break down the whole chart, but I'm going to point out some key things. And if you're into studying numerology, just listen to how I break it down, and you can see what I'm doing and use it in your own studies. The course of Tupac's life was a 4. Anytime you see a 4, that's going to show you some sort of uniqueness. 4 is a very eccentric number because it's ruled by Uranus. And traditional or old school numerology is also ruled by Rahu, which is considered the north node of the moon. So this is going to push you towards something. And 4s are very driven in that regard. That's why it's also tied to hard work, because they're very driven. In order to be driven, you have to work hard. And when you look at Tupac's life, he put out mad music, man. Like the dude had a double CD when cats wasn't putting out double features like that. And when he transitioned, he left so much music behind. In fact, after he transitioned, there was probably more music found that people make while they're alive. So the music that he left, it made people think that he was still alive because it was so much. That's based on his work ethic. So when you look at his work ethic combined with his uniqueness, and then the gift number being a 7, this is a person that was very much into information. And I'm not talking mundane information. The 4 will make people, the 4 will push you and attract you just to be an information junkie. But when you have a 7 together with the 4, these people are not going to just want to study mundane information. It's going to bore them. So they're going to stretch their minds beyond the normal, into the occult, into the metaphysics. So I wouldn't be shocked if Tupac had books on astrology, numerology, meditation, Eastern philosophy, African cultures, etc., etc. He went beyond the mundane. He had to. Looking at these numbers, he went beyond the mundane. Now, I did hear in one interview where Tupac was a heavy book reader. He was an avid book reader. So it's a safe bet. And if somebody knows the true history of Tupac, Put it in the comments or whatever. Some of the books that he had, I will put money on it. It was way past just a mundane books and subject matter. The way Tupac liked to express himself, he had a master number of expression. And when you listen to him, he had a very flowery or very poetic way of expressing himself. That's because you're dealing with the double six. 6 is ruled by Venus. Venus is very poetic. And in fact, Tupac left books of poetry. I believe I have on my bookshelf a Tupac book where it's nothing but poems. So he was very poetic. And when you look and listen to his music, even his music was sort of poetic. Kind of like Nas. Nas is considered a street poet. Tupac would go in the same vein. So when he expressed himself, he was very poetic. He was very artistic with the words. But that 66 breaks down to a 3, and this will make a person want to motivate, want to aspire. So he uses raps to inspire people to really be who themselves. He really stretched you to want to go beyond the norm. He challenged you. He made you think. And with that, he was also kind of contradictory. At one minute, he's saying, "Dear Mama." In another song, he might be smacking women. And that just shows that even though he wanted to motivate, even though it was like some sort of message behind his music, he was still kind of contradictory. I'm not taking shots. I'm just analyzing the numbers for what they are. But also, the proof is in the pudding. One song, "Dear Mama," next song, "Smack 'em." You know? And I'm not, once again, this is not a judgment thing, because Tupac was a young dude. He didn't even hit his 30-year-old mark. So he was still learning and growing. But unlike us, or unlike most people, he had to grow up in the public eye. So you seen him doing his job on TV. So with that, it was times where one minute he was for the people, next minute you would think he was against the people. So it was a kind of a contradictive energy, and that's based on the life path being a 4, the soul urge, the expression. Because when you look at the numbers, they're going to be a water element, earth element, fire element. Those are going to show you the conflicts that people have. If you have 2 fire numbers, they're going to complement each other. If you have fire and water, there's going to be a lot of challenges there. So when you analyze the chart, not only do you want to look at the numbers, but you also want to look at the elemental disposition. Something I drive hard body into in the course into my students. So to recap and analyze his life path, he was a hard worker. He was very much into information. He liked to express himself to motivate people. It was natural for him to do that. He probably found that music was probably the easiest way for him to motivate people. And I remember in one interview, Tupac said that I may not be the person that changed the world, but I guarantee I'll be the one that sparked the mind of the person that changed the world. If that's not a natural motivator, I don't know what is. And when you look at his soul urge was a 9. So the soul urge is either going to let you know someone's hidden desires that they don't even know consciously that they want to do, or they're aware that that's what they want to do in life. So when you look at a 9 are your people that give back. They're your leaders. They're very competitive. They're very passionate, but they want to be charitable. And I found that through Tupac's music, not only did he knock out a couple birds as far as motivating and having people think outside the box, but he also gave back. You can tell there was in some sort of conscious intention with his music in order to spark some sort of change, in order to spark a revolution. In fact, he said that, you know what I mean? Want to spark a revolution. Don't stand on your hands. Get up and do something about the system. He wanted you to do that. That was in his DNA. That was part of his soul. And when you analyze his numbers, it's kind of obvious. I want to motivate people to do better. I want to put out information. I want to challenge people to think. I might be controversial. I might be even contradictory. But at the end of the day, you know, my heart is pure and I'm doing this for my people. You can see this played out in his numbers, you know. So I wanted to do this video. Hopefully I did Tupac mad justice. If you have somebody that you want me to analyze, make sure to leave a comment in the YouTube description. If you want your chart if you want your chart analyzed, or if you want a one-on-one consultation with myself in order to see what your gifts are, to see what your purpose is, to see how you can get over certain spiritual blocks, go to sollyMyers.com, click on Work With Me, and sign up for a one-on-one consultation. And let me say this, because I get this question a lot. I do more than just numerology. When you do a session with me, I do numerology, I do astrology, but more importantly, I operate off intuition. The numbers can tell you something, the planets can tell you something, but the intuition is going to tell you a whole lot more. If you're interested in learning numerology, click on Work With Me and look at the Tahuti Numerology course. Same thing that I used to construct the #1 bestseller, Deity Linkage Manual, How to Find Your Gods and Goddesses Using Numerology. That same system is what I'm teaching now. Ran the course twice. Out of everybody that's taken the course, I can guarantee you they can read numbers. So if you're interested in reading numbers, sign up for the course and you'll be well on your way to analyzing anyone's chart. So this has been Ali. Until next time, pay.